Brittany was just talking about Half Moon Bay area and San Mateo, including the section of Highway 101 in South San Francisco. It remains shut down indefinitely tonight. KRON 4's Gail Ong takes a look.
The heaviest part of the rain fell overnight, and now crews are dealing with the aftermath. Flooded roadways. Highway 101 has turned into a lake.
Saturday morning, heavy rain and high tides flooded this stretch of Highway 101 in South San Francisco. Both southbound and northbound lanes closed as Caltrans worked to clear the drains to get rid of the standing water, causing a lengthy delay. The Oyster Point Boulevard exit, a standstill as traffic was diverted off the highway.
Pretty crazy right now. Flooded everywhere.
In San Mateo, relentless rain swamped the area of Delaware Street and Bermuda Drive.
Got to work in the morning. The water goes until my knee and too much.
Oh, the water was much higher earlier.
Yeah, much higher.
Others braved the elements, but this man was forced to step outside.
We're trying to get sandbags for our place, and I think it's out of commission right now.
According to San Mateo police, the area flooded due to a nearby creek overflowing.
I live in this building, and I remember looking out the window. I was like, oh, we have a pool now. It's crazy flooded. It's never been this way before.
The weather prompting Sophia Porras to change her New Year's Eve plans.
I went to go meet my mom for coffee really quickly just to see her for the new year. And then I was like, yeah, I can't stay out. I have to come home. So it's a perfect day to just snuggle up on the couch and just like Netflix.
In the meantime, public works crews will stay busy working to clear the drains. In San Mateo County, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Now at 8, the aftermath of a storm that did not let up. Flooding, down trees and power lines, reports of mudslides and rock slides. We are tracking the damage done all across the Bay. Thanks for joining us here on KRON 4 News at 8. I'm Noelle Bello. Most in the Bay Area will remember the last day of 2022 for its torrential downpour. Several streets like these in San Francisco flooded during the storm yesterday. As KRON 4's Gail Ong reports, the atmospheric river left quite a mess across the city.
Saturday's rainstorm knocked this tree onto a car and van at Clarendon and Panorama in San Francisco.
It's sad, but I'm glad that nobody got injured.
Cindy Chan and her mother Norma watched as this San Francisco Public Works crew spent Sunday afternoon clearing the debris. They say neighbors heard a loud crash around 6 p.m. Saturday.
Scary. It's scary. It's just all these trees with all this rain that we've had. I can see a lot of trees may come down too. So they're saying to be careful not to park where there's a lot of trees, but it's inevitable, right?
I don't feel like we've had a rain like that in a long time.
Cell phone video shows mud-colored water streaming along San Francisco's streets. In the city's Soma neighborhood, a man was seen rowing down 14th and Harrison. E-bikes and parked cars submerged in water. According to the National Weather Service, rainfall in downtown San Francisco hit 5.46 inches on New Year's Eve, making it the second wettest day on record since November of 1994.
Oh, wow.
To see this just shows you how much water came down.
At Ocean Beach, a mudslide closed the Great Highway to vehicles from Point Lobos to Balboa.
As much as we do, there's one little spot up there where there's a slice of soil and nature, and with enough rain and time, you're going to have an involuntary transplant.
And this flood kept the underpass of Cesar Chavez and Pennsylvania closed, most drivers following the guidance of law enforcement and avoiding standing water. But not everyone.
And more rain is in the forecast, according to the National Weather Service. A strong storm system is expected on Wednesday that will bring heavy rain and likely more flooding. Reporting from San Francisco, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
In the North Bay, firefighters, they are on alert, of course, anticipating local flooding, and then the debris flows around the glass fire burn scar.
Our Gail Ong is live tonight in Santa Rosa. Gail, are local officials there worried about this rain?
Yeah, Grant and Vicki, there are concerns, especially the timing of that storm, as Lawrence mentioned, the heaviest band of rain into Saturday morning. So a time when a lot of people will be out and about and could get stuck in standing water. So they're hoping from Thursday, Friday, that people will take the time to prepare homes and businesses from potential water damage. Tuesday's heavy rain flooded local roads in Santa Rosa, and more rain is on the way. All this moisture coming from an atmospheric river, in this case infamously known as the Pineapple Express, that is expected to bring heavy rain Friday night through Saturday.
That we're expecting upwards of 3 to 4 inches of rain, at least here in the North Bay and the Santa Rosa area.
The National Weather Service issued a flood watch Friday and Saturday for the entire Bay Area. Paul Lowenthal, fire marshal with the Santa Rosa Fire Department, is keeping a close eye on the glass fire burn scar in local rivers, streams, creeks, and roads prone to flooding.
Slow down, plan for extra time to get where they need to go. Definitely don't cross flooded roadways or flooded creek crossings. We've seen the effects of what that can do, and drawing away emergency responders to an incident that is avoidable is something that we definitely don't want to see.
This is a popular item right now.
At Marin Ace Hardware in San Rafael, store manager Scott Osterman has been busy selling
Everything that has to do with preventing water from getting in your home or on top of things. And everything from your really heavy-duty tarps.
From tarps of all sizes to ponchos and
Rain boots are flying out of here. We straighten these up every day, and people have been coming through and grabbing them.
While the rain from this upcoming storm system will overall be beneficial for the drought situation, residents are advised to prepare ahead of time.
Water comes hard and fast, and sometimes it's more than you expected.
But we're reliant upon property owners doing their part too to keep their gutters clear and rainwater's flowing where it needs to go. So the last thing we need is debris from private property owners impacting public storm drain systems and potentially leading to property damage.
And most cities, including here in Santa Rosa and counties, offer sandbag stations for free. So all you have to do is shovel up the sand in the bag. But you can look on our website, KRON4.com, for a list of those locations. Reporting live from Santa Rosa, Gail Ong, KRON4 News.
Thank you, Gail. Meanwhile, people...
Thank you, Lawrence. In the South Bay, a section of Sierra Road near Berryessa in San Jose is closed due to a mudslide.
Yeah, drivers advised to avoid the area. Gail Ong is there with the latest. What's it look like tonight, Gail?
Well, Pam and Ken, I'm on the bottom of the hill, so that area where the mudslide was about 7 miles away from where I am, and that's in the higher elevation. So that's where we're really seeing and hearing about issues in and around Santa Clara County. You can see out here live in San Jose, conditions have been calm for the last couple hours now. But let's show you video of that mudslide that's over on Sierra Road. And when you drive up this way, there are several road closures because crews were doing landslide mitigation work ahead of the heavy downpour. And by the time we arrived, the crews have cleaned up the mess. And you can just see the portion of that saturated hillside. That was just a major concern, you know, across the Bay Area. When you get too much rain too fast, that is what happens. But the area of the mudslide was on a road that really wasn't impacted by travel that much. It's a really rural area, just 2 winding roads to get up to that. But Santa Clara County have been reporting road closures around the area due to flooding, roads washed out, and storm debris. That's over in the Gilroy area near Coyote Reservoir. Mesa Road from Santa Teresa to Highway 101 is closed due to flooding, and there are reports of trees down in Campbell close to Highway 9. So really in those mountain areas, those mountain towns, is where we're hearing about this mess. But back here live in San Jose, you can see it's pretty calm out here. At one point, there was a heavy downpour, maybe around the late afternoon from 5 to 7 p.m. But you look at it now, it looks like we're seeing that break in the rain. But overall, besides those road closures in those more of that country rural areas, we're not hearing about much just yet. We are hearing about some rapid rises in some local creeks, but we can just expect some of the normal flooding in the same areas that we've seen in the past. But that is the situation here live in San Jose. Ken and Pam.
All right, Gail, thank you for that. Let's take a live look at the radar right now. Take a look at this. There's actually bike path in there. King Tide flooding in Mill Valley today.
Wow, that's the highest tide of the year, and it returned to the Bay Area just this week, and apparently we're expecting another round tomorrow, and we have team coverage on that tonight. KRON 4's chief meteorologist Lawrence Carno is looking at where we can see more of that flooding.
But first, we want to go to KRON 4's Gail Ong. She joins us live from San Francisco with the phenomenon that scientists say is giving them a preview of the future. Gail.
Yeah, Ken and Ella, tides, they reached over 7 feet today in San Francisco, and scientists say that high tides are not only a natural phenomenon, they help scientists identify sea level rise vulnerabilities. The Mill Valley Sausalito bike path flooded Friday morning as the king tides returned to the Bay Area. But it didn't stop people from biking and walking through several inches of water. Caltrans redirected traffic around flooding at the intersection of Highway 1 and the southbound Highway 101 off-ramp. But this scene, quite normal for locals.
The winter solstice is the highest event that it happens.
And it's all gravity. The astronomical high tides happen in the winter when the sun, moon, and earth align, producing the highest tidal effects of the year. John Haskins is a Mill Valley native. He researches water quality down an Elkhorn Slough in the Monterey Bay.
So these are kind of good times to be able to find out, okay, where does it get flooding? What are the effects that are happening? And how do we mitigate it in the future?
The king tides also made a splash at Pier 14 along the Embarcadero in San Francisco, but spectators not impressed.
I thought they were big waves, but they're not big waves.
Last time I came out here, I got sprayed with water.
This is what the Embarcadero looked like 2 years ago. The rain pushed the water so high, the area temporarily closed. Back in Mill Valley, UPS managing to get through the flooded waters, but this SUV left it stranded in the parking lot. While bystanders enjoy the natural phenomenon, scientists say these waters are a glimpse into the future.
Communities in different areas have to come together and help figure out different ways of solving it. Whether it's creating dams, whether it's creating levees.
The California King Tides Project monitors sea level rise and are encouraging observers to submit pictures on their website to help document communities most vulnerable to flooding. And observers are urged to use caution when visiting the tides. The next surge here along the Embarcadero over at Pier 14 is expected around 11 a.m. tomorrow if you're out on a Christmas Eve Saturday. Reporting live in San Francisco, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Gail, thank you.
And to the North Bay now, where storm preparations are underway in San Anselmo, a town that's experienced devastated floods before.
And KRON 4's Gail Ong is there. She's live with a closer look at how things are shaping up. Gail?
Catherine, Ella, the rain continues here tonight, and it really has been nonstop since this afternoon when I arrived around 4 p.m. But people here, they have their sandbags ready to go, and they know the drill from past storms.
We have floodgates that fit inside here.
Stephen Cabela is showing us how he gets his business ready for the rounds of heavy rain in the forecast.
Everything's up on levels. I made these tables so objects are higher off the ground.
After experiencing 2 devastating floods since he opened a shop in 1977, protecting his precious antiques and art has become
second nature, really, to anybody that lives in this town.
Cabela's art shop is directly across the street from the San Anselmo Creek, known as ground zero for flooding when a strong storm rolls in. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch for the entire Bay Area until Saturday, but Cabela says he is not only concerned about the water rising.
It was the cars going down the road and bashing into buildings. The water itself isn't that dangerous. I mean, it leaves, but it's the stuff that's in the water, logs, stuff like that.
This is what the creek looked like in 2005. Businesses inundated with floodwater when the creek jumped its banks. And here's October of last year. The creek at the brim caused businesses to shut down. To reduce the risk of major flooding, the town of San Anselmo demolished these 4 buildings in recent years. The area still undergoing a transformation.
It was catching the overflow. Removing it was a step that had to be done, but there's more work that needs to be done.
And the rain expected to intensify in the overnight hours. So that is where the concern is. That resident here in San Anselmo, he plans to monitor the live stream of the San Anselmo Creek, which is run by the Ross Valley Fire Department. So he says he will be keeping an eye on that live camera. And if anything does overflow, he will be here in a jiffy. Reporting live from San Anselmo, Gail Ong, KRON 4 News.
Thanks so much for that report, Gail.
100 delays and 100 cancellations at SFO. KRON 4's Gail Ong was at SFO tonight and joins us with a look at the situation.
Overall, the flights on this United border are flying on time, but travelers I spoke with say they got caught up in that inclement weather, and tonight they were able to get on a plane to see loved ones just in time for the holiday. Passengers fresh off this United Airlines flight from Chicago relieved to make it to the Bay Area on Christmas Eve.
All night the wind blew like I've never heard it, so.
All week, severe winter storms from the Midwest to East Coast causing travel delays and cancellations. Susan Winslow almost changed her plans.
I was going to cancel. My husband talked me into it. It ran a little late, but it was very smooth and terrific.
For Jeff Brady, things were not as smooth getting here.
My flight originated in Omaha, and I was actually delayed a whole day just to then get to Chicago, and then got a delay out of Chicago today to get here to SFO finally.
On Saturday, the board showed most flights on time at SFO, but a different scene on Friday, as millions of Americans were traveling ahead of Christmas. Tracking site FlightAware showed more than 5,700 flights in or out of the United States were canceled.
Very grateful, very grateful.
This traveler is thankful to avoid it all.
We're just staying in San Francisco and Las Vegas, but I know a lot of people had delayed flights, so sorry for that, but we lucked out.
And after getting stuck in the stormy weather,
It was an adventure for sure, but it worked out, so in the end, that's all good.
and while the Bay Area was mostly spared from the stormy conditions, the National Weather Service says we are expecting an active weather pattern starting Monday evening. That system expected to bring some heavy rain to the region. Something to think about if you are flying back to the Bay Area after Christmas. Reporting from SFO, Gail Ong,